gosh, my printer is taking its time, but we are here. Hello, gorgeous humans. How's it going? What are you up to? Notably, I need to do some memory keeping for Go Wild because I usually would have set my journal up before I went. So, just as a little kind of recap. So, previously, I have had pages dedicated to the actual kind of planning stages, packing lists, all of those kind of bits and pieces. But this time around, I was like, we don't need that. You're not going to use it. It'll be fine. And then I got to Go Wild and got major FOMO because everybody's layouts looked really, really cute. And I'm like, no, I must have something. So, this one here is actually from Washington, D.C. So, we have, Capitol building bits and pieces. I liked doing the little tablemate kind of. It's not really a swatch, is it? It's just more of a kind of pictorial version of the stuff that I brought along for people. But all of these kind of things, which was just it's a fun way to keep track of things. Also, I really love my what I call my contact card shrine. So this is for all of the little contact cards that people give you while you're there, which are effectively just little sticker pack type things that usually have a picture of them or something, say who they are, where to find them, and whatever else. And I quite like this because I'm not very good at remembering who in particular I meet, and being able to put name, face together, that can be very, very helpful. So I initially was like, no, you don't need any of this. You'll be fine. I've got the same thing here for DC. So using the same kind of color palette for my journal as was for the conference itself. So these colors were kind of akin to what we were using for all of the merchandise and such that they had for Go Wild that year. And then I was like, you know what? There's not that much space in this journal left. I'm sure that I don't really need anything for this year. And then I got FOMO. So we do have, I don't know, a decent chunk of space in the back of this journal that I figured I could use. And I also got a lot of different swag bits while I was there that are very kind of Go Wild coded. So things like this sticker set from Keller the Plan, which we got as part of our kind of welcome registration pack. I'm not really going to need any of these things for anything other than the the Go Wild conference, especially given it's like in the palette of the stuff that was for Go Wild and all of those kind of things. So I figured, well, heck, you've got supplies for it and you've got space in the journal, so you might as well do some memory keeping. My printing is finally finished. Let me go collect it. So one of the things that I do like to have as part of my memory keeping are kind of the pictures of the speakers and such. So I've just literally gone and stolen all of the pictures that were put out on Instagram and just put them into a document on Office, like Microsoft Word, so that I can cut these out and stick them in as well. Because previously what I've done, and one of the reasons why I was making this journal previously, was that I was like, oh, okay, conference, we have speakers. I want to take down notes from those speakers. So the first year, they had them as these kind of little, I don't know what this is called, kind of like sketch notes, little sketch notes kind of version of what everybody looked like and all of that kind of a thing, which I thought was very cute. So I stuck all of those ones in, wrote down some decent notes, depending on the session. Like some of the sessions I didn't have as much to write about. And then last year I did a similar thing, but you can see that there are very limited notes taken, in part because I missed a good chunk of day 2 when it came to the sessions. There's only 2 days of sessions and I missed like almost all of day 2 because I was not well. But even for the day that I was there, I didn't take down all of that much either. So I was like, oh, well, do you really need to? Is it necessary? Did you already visit DC or is it an upcoming event? That one was 2 years ago. So DC was 2023. Yeah. February 2023 to March 9th of 2023. So this is an annual conference, happens once a year. So I have multiple years in here because I didn't really need to fill an entire journal with just one trip. So this was kind of like my, I don't know, rolling journal for this. Did they deliberately color code the purple swag for you? I like to think so. I like to think that they are. They specifically did it for me. They didn't though. But in terms of a color palette for this year, because I've got a bunch of little bits and pieces that I figured I can use for my memory keeping. We do have some purple in this year's palette. We also have some green. There is technically blue in here as well, some yellow. I decided to pick my palette based more so on this set because it was a little bit easier just to see what the colors were. And because of the gradient, there is actually a decent range of colors in here. And I was like, I don't want to pick like 17 squillion colors to perfectly match the gradient. But I also found that online somebody had already swatched it using Tombos, and I'm like, haha, yay. So this is the palette that we're using. I think that they had used a blue in place of green, but I thought that the green just made more sense here, even though there is blue in here. It's a very interesting kind of, I don't know how well you can see it. We just kind of hold this up. So it kind of goes, purple to pink to orange to yellow to green to blue back to green. So I was like, let's just scrap the blue portion. It is an interesting color of blue. It's kind of more like a teal blue type thing, but it started to add too many colors to my palette. Like if we have a look at this one instead, the Monday through Sunday kind of region, you can see that there's that kind of bluish color here. It might be a little bit hard. So I decided just to pick these 5 colors out, and I figured that those will be kind of nice. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do the decoration just yet. I do like things to be, matchy-matchy. So when I did these ones, I just did the same kind of like color wave throughout the entire thing. So wave of color down the bottom here. And we've also got like just very simply through here, a little wave of color through here as well. But I also really loved what Natasha Miller Creates did in her one. She did it very much based on that checkered flag, and she did alternating squares in her journal. Now, I am not sure if I want to go to the effort to color in alternating squares. That might be a little bit much. Just in the interests of getting this stuff into my journal, because I really just want to capture the memories more than anything else. I'm like, maybe not, but we've got some decorative pieces through here and through these stickers and such, and then we've got these ones as well. So it might just be a little bit of a mixed bag, and we're just gonna like kind of follow our joy with this a little bit. But super cute. I do appreciate that she's got like the conference dates and all of these type things, and she's also got some stickers about stuff that would have been happening previously. For headers, I had used a sticker book, but I ran out of those ones. They were really great though. They kind of look like handwriting, but they're actually stickers. So we're gonna do some sticker bombing, just like go and put stickers all over a page. We're gonna stick in the pictures of different people and whatnot. But it's gonna be very much like a build this plane as we fly it type deal. As we go through, if you have any questions about Go Wild or just in general, make sure to let me know. Also, let me know what you're working on today. Are you just gonna be like, I don't know, hanging out, having a good time type thing, or are you doing your laundry, whatever else? I would love to hear it. I'm going to scroll back to make sure I haven't missed any questions or anything like that, because I was a little bit late today. I apologize for that. So dun, 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 dun. Good morning to everybody who said good morning. Question about whether it has started or not. It had not started yet. It was not a dumb question. The printer chose violence, and by that I mean I should have started printing things earlier, but I didn't. I don't know. I've been in like a really big slump lately, and I'm really hoping that it kind of like, I don't know, passes, but it's been a bit of a mission. Let's see. Catch up on reading sprint. Excellent. Glad you caught up on the reading sprint, Holly. That's awesome. Realizing it's June and needing to set up June. Excellent use of our time today. Yeah, I feel like I need to get into my planner and actually make some plans, because I have been neglecting things. I'm going to read these while I cut these stickers out, because that is a good way to double team the work time. I'm sure that there was a better way to word that, but let's see. Now, these are the kind of things that, yes, could I print this off with my Cricut? Sure. Could I get the Cricut to print it off and cut it out for me and all of that? Sure. But I don't know how to do that yet, so I will just use my scissors. And you know what? They're just boxes, so I'm gonna be just fine. You joined the Discord server a few months ago, and you have the nicest community. Yay! Well, I'm glad to have you in it. I think that the Discord community, or like the people that we have over in Discord, they're all very good eggs, and I appreciate that everybody's very they're very helpful. They're very willing to help people out, especially because I know that Discord is not necessarily a platform that everybody is particularly familiar with. So it's always good to see them helping each other out when we have newbies join who are like, I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know where to go. And just kind of like, gently suggesting where to post things and all of that. They're very, very kind. So if you are not part of our Discord community and you'd like to be, I think there's a link in the description box. I can't remember what link I put down there. But no, we would love to have you with us. If you enjoy journaling and chilling out and such, we would love to have you over there. We have a monthly session, which is called Craft and Create, which was, I don't know, what's the word for somebody who starts something? Well, somebody who started something is Shah. She's what we call our community manager. She is a very good egg also. And so she has been running these craft and create sessions where people can just bring along their journaling or crafting or whatever else they want to do and just hang out together either in voice or video chat. Like, you don't have to be on video. There's no like requirement to be on video, but it's more so just like you get the social aspect of like hanging out with other people who enjoy what you do, but you don't have to leave your house, which is also very nice because it means you can wear your PJs. Nobody's gonna mind if you're wearing your PJs. Put that one to the side. I'm not sure how I want to order these. I was kind of thinking maybe in the order that we saw them present. That might make sense, but we'll see. I'm glad that you saw yourself in the Dallas Friends. It was such a shame you couldn't come this year, but hopefully next year. Yeah, going to go wild is on your bucket list. We would love to have you there. Yeah, but being in Ireland, it takes a lot of planning and saving. Very fair. Yeah, next year it's going to be in New Orleans. So Vogel and I were thinking about turning it into like maybe a little holiday type thing. Because New Orleans is a place that's kind of more on a bucket list than Indianapolis. No offense to Indianapolis, like it was lovely to visit you. But in terms of places that I would want to visit without Go Wild, it wasn't necessarily like top of the list kind of a thing. But let's see, you're having surgery tomorrow, so making sure that you get all the laundry and dishes done. Wow. Well, I hope your surgery goes well. Good on you for getting everything prepped. Working on your to-do list. Excellent idea. What drink do you have with you today? I have copped out Tink and have my cheeky cola. I got a Coke Zero. I have been trying to start my day with water, but I given the whole like being in a mood, being in a slump type thing at the moment, I just gave myself a pass today. I'm just like, you know what? You're not feeling it. It's Monday. We're having a time. So we'll treat ourselves to a cheeky cola because at least that's going to be something that you'll enjoy with your morning. I don't know. I wouldn't even say that life is particularly stressful right now. I think it's probably it's stressful in my head. Like I think I am in part making it stressful for myself. This might be a little bit self-inflicted, but I've just been feeling very kind of like demotivated, not inspired, just a bit bleh recently. And then we say like, well, okay, Jess, what have you done to try and get out of it? And it's like, I know I have been struggling with it for a while now, but I can't pinpoint the things that I have done to get out of it, even though I know that I have done things. It's the same idea with a general task list for the day, getting to the end of the day and being like, what did I even do with today? It's like, well, I obviously filled the time with something. It's just I can't remember what I've done. So I'm trying to give myself a pass and say like, you have actually been attempting to get out of your slump. It's just we can't necessarily pinpoint exactly what you've been doing to try and get out of it. But hey, we will get there. This too shall pass. I think that one of the things that's causing me a lot of mental anguish at the moment is just not knowing what I want to do with my journal. I have been in a bit of a slump with my journal for a couple of months. I liked my May setup. I thought it was fun. I thought that it was a good kind of like way to strip back to the essentials. I liked the theme, all of those kind of things. But then I went away, and as we know from my track record, if I go away, I don't use my journal. So it's like, okay, cool. Did I just waste a really good theme and setup on a month where I was going away? That's not what I like to think about. It's like, it's not like a waste to have set it up and to have not used it. It's more like, you got to do the creativity aspect. It's just maybe not as utilized as you would have liked it to be. But now as we're in June and trying to get back from my trip and get back into the swing of things, I've been finding that to be a little bit rough. And then I'm also thinking like, okay, cool. Getting back on our healthy habits, trying to get back into the swing of doing life and whatever else. I hit a milestone last week in terms of, because I'm on a kind of like health journey, weight loss type thing. It's okay, we won't talk about it very much if that's not really your topic. But I hit myself a milestone last Thursday. I was like, oh, awesome, that's really exciting. I'm feeling really good about that. And then I swear my inner saboteur kicked in and was just like we're going to undo all your progress. Notably, I have not undone all of my progress. Like, I am very aware that I'm not back to where I started or anything like that. But Rebel Brain kicked in and just decided that, like, nope, we're gonna not necessarily abandon your healthy habits you've been building, because I've still been doing my exercise and movement and stuff like that. But just going to make it so that it's like, okay, you are now hardcore craving all of the bad foods, and I am going to curse you with weak will, and you are not going to be able to resist the temptation. I don't know. I think it also doesn't help that it's like the time of month type thing, so everything's like already. Again, I'm trying to give myself a pass, trying to be gentle with myself, because this too shall pass. We're just feeling some kind of way, but it's all good. Alrighty, I have not not scrolled down. Sigh of relief when you said you didn't know how to use the Cricut for those stickers. Yeah, I just whoops. Yeah, originated is a great word. Instigator is also a great word. I am so behind. I apologize. Question: if I don't like the first 6 months, but I have the last half of the journal, should I start a new journal? It depends. It depends. If you can get over the fact that you don't like the start, but you can kind of like just give yourself a fresh start where you're at and continue to use it and actually use it. So let's just say, for instance, for this journal, as an example, it's not a perfect example, but as an example, let's just say that the first 2 sessions that I put in here, I actually hated, and I thought that they looked trash, and I didn't like looking at them and all of that kind of thing. If that was going to dampen my joy for what I'm making right now, if I was going to be feeling like really negative feelings coming into this journal or not want to get into this journal because of the stuff I'd already set up, I would start a new one, because I do not want my previous work in a journal to deter me from the future possibility of working in that journal, if that kind of makes sense. If we're thinking about it in terms of like an actual kind of daily planner type thing, or like, regular bullet journal, everyday journal type thing, if I set up a month that feels bleh, usually I can make my peace with that and move on to the next month and just kind of be like, we'll just ignore it type of a thing. But if it's the kind of thing where I can't do that, then I will change notebooks. I have only had, I think, maybe 1 or 2 instances where I've done that. I originally set myself up a goal planner, and I found that it just wasn't working in the way that I'd set it up. And I was like, okay, well, we could turn this journal into something else. We could either pivot and make it into a new type of journal, or we could continue to do the goal planning stuff, but just change the style or something like that. I decided to change it into a different type of journal. I decided to change it into a content planning journal. And then I hated the fact that the content planning stuff that I was needing started in the middle of the book. That became like a barrier to entry. I wouldn't use it because I had to kind of like flip through the journal to find where those first pages were, as opposed to just knowing that the first page was like at the start of the notebook. So because that was something that did not spark joy and did not incentivize me to use it, I ended up kind of scrapping that book. I didn't like throw it away or anything, but I ended up turning it into like a scribble book, an R&D notebook type thing, and made a different content journal. So if you think you can get away with it, if you think that you can still be enthusiastic to get into the journal, still utilize it in the way you want to, just kind of ignoring the stuff that you set up that you didn't like, all good, go for it. If you don't think you can do that, get a new one, because we don't want to sacrifice our future productivity, or like the ability to have the future productivity or the future joy, just to use something to completion. Your time is worth more than that, in my personal opinion. This is also coming from somebody who has a plethora of notebooks, though, so big grains of salt, I suppose. But yay, look at all our little speaker cards. Oh my gosh, they are so stinking cute. So I'm gonna stick these in. I'm not sure where. I'm not sure if I want to do any journaling around them. I might do a little bit of journaling around them or something, but scrolling down. Okay, so excited for New Orleans. I am so excited for New Orleans. Planning on doing a ghost tour. Oh, that would be so awesome. Yeah, we're gonna hopefully stay for a little bit extra and just like do some sightseeing and stuff like that. Yeah, Blair is an absolute mood. It's been driving you bananas too. I'm both glad that somebody else can relate and sad that we are in that space. I hope that it passes for you too. Yeah, you should come to the Chicago Planner Conference this year. I I mean, if I could get a ticket, I mean, this is the thing, right? Don't I don't necessarily like love flying. And I'm gonna be doing a lot of it in the upcoming year or whatever. So it's like we're gonna be going to my brother's wedding in January. Very excited. That's gonna be in South Korea. So we're gonna do a little kind of like South Korea and Singapore like tour. Singapore. Yep. Then next year we have New Orleans. Then next year we also are going to go to Japan as a family. So I'm like, I've got 3 international trips planned for next year. I'm like, also got a wedding this year. I'm like, my funds, my money. Like, I don't think I can afford all of these trips. So I'm in like hardcore saving mode. Hardcore saving mode. Let's see. Have a question about reading trackers. I might have missed it. If you want to repost that, just repost that for me because I've scrolled a little way away now. Apologies. Let's see. What are your thoughts on time blocking in a journal? Asking because I seem to be spending all day on housework. Admittedly, you have OCD. Alrighty. I find time blocking in a journal to be a little bit difficult, only because I have a really bad estimate of how long things actually take me. So I would be more inclined personally to time block in a digital calendar. If you're okay with things looking a little different to how you're planned, or if you don't have the issue with like the prediction of how long things take, totally fine to do it in a planner. I know that some people have done them. We're just gonna use this. Some people do it vertically, and some people do it like horizontally as kind of like a bar for the day. So you write out your header for the day. So like I don't know, Monday, and then they kind of write down the numbers of whatever their waking hours are. So it's like 8, 9, 10, yada yada yada, and then they will use color coding to block in what times they're doing different things. So it's like, oh hey, this is my lunch block, and then this is where I'm doing other which what things. What you can do is you can set it up as a 2-bar system. So we have 1 bar that you kind of plan out at the start of the day or the end of the last day to say this is ideally how I want to spend my time or what I'm kind of planning on spending my time as. And then you have another bar underneath it where you color in what actually happened, mainly so you can start to see a pattern of like, this is what I predicted was going to happen, and then this is what actually happened. And then you can use that information to inform future time blocking and such, so that you can kind of see how long things actually took you, take that into account when you make future plans, if that kind of makes sense. Time blocking can be really, really helpful for, especially if you are doing like, multifaceted work or something. You don't want to just spend your time doing one thing. But what I personally wouldn't necessarily say prefer to time blocking, but I do more often than time blocking is time boxing. And this is where I give myself like a set thing that I want to work on, and I give myself a set amount of time to do it. I'm not necessarily planning out how I'm using future time. It's more so just how I am using that time in that moment. So it's like, okay, I need to tidy my office. I'm going to give myself 15 minutes. It holds me to account to making sure I use that time really effectively, because once that 15 minutes is over, then I like can't do anymore. Quote, quote. I could still do more if I wanted to. I'm just going to check the focus on this because I feel like we've been having a hard time. There we go. We're good? We're good, because I would keep on auto-focusing on my hands and stuff. I don't want that. Alrighty. Can I ask, with reading trackers, I need a spread for every month as I read every day. Would like to keep track of pages. What percentage, like Goodreads type trackers, do you have examples? The only reading tracker that I have for like a daily base reading tracker is kind of similar to a traditional bullet journal monthly log. If we get this one out, yeah, this one, for instance, just ignore the little tip in, but I just put in letters for each of my pieces of media. This is my key where I write down what those letters actually represent, and I just color in for each day what piece of media I was actually consuming. If we go to, for instance, this one looks good because we've recently completed it. So you can see that on the first column we have A. So piece of media A was The Rookie season 4. I watched that on the 1st and the 3rd. B, Devil in the Family. I watched that on the 3rd. If we have something like D, which was How to ADHD, a book, I read that on the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 10th, 11th, 13th, 15th, and 16th. So I just do it this way because I don't necessarily mind or Like, I don't need to use the information of how much I did in each day. It's more so just like a when did I. But if you wanted to be doing something in the sense of like how much each day did I do, you could use a color code. So it could be like, oh, red means that I read 5 pages, and orange means that I read up to 10, and yellow means I read up to 15, or like whatever. Depends on how much you read. Or you could just write the number in. For instance, if I wanted to write down like how much of each book I consumed, I could be like, oh, okay, on the 4th, I read 13 pages of that book. And then on the 5th, I read another 6 pages of the book. And I could write it in that way. That would be something you could do. In terms of graphs, I only do graphs for the end of the month. And I only do it for like format, genre, and ratings. And I make these on the computer, as you can see from these pictures here, because I am just a little bit prissy, I'm a little bit picky, and I want my graphs to be perfect. And while I could draw them perfectly, it would take me too long. So I would rather just make them on the computer using Microsoft Office. It makes my life so much easier. But those are the only kind of trackers that I keep. If you want more ideas for trackers, though, we do have a reading journal ideas video, which could probably help you out. So one thing that I did for all of these pages was, you see that kind of like highlight bar that we have at the top. I like that, and I think I kind of want to do it again just to keep consistency in this journal. So we're gonna do that. I just need to figure out what color I want to use. Part of me wants to use the green just because it feels like very different to what we've had previously, and I kind of like that. Let's see. You're going to be lurking while you're doing your June reading journal setup? Wrap up. I can read. Wow, wrap up. June? Good for you. This tape feels too wide to do this with. I feel like I want to use a skinnier tape, only for the fact that I want to save this one for no apparent reason. So these are tapes that I don't want to use in my journal, usually because like they don't stick well, or they're just not really the pattern that I kind of like. So I opt to put them into here. I feel like I want to put down some decoration before I do this. Okay. Just to make sure that I have space for it, we are going to use one of these little cars, I think, and we're also going to put this guy in as a tip-in, which means I'm going to put that like here. I think that would be cute. And then I can have my Go Wild Indie information. We're going to have to trim this down, obviously, because it is too big to fit in here. Like, you can see it's sticking out the top here. That's not ideal. But we're going to stick that in here as a tip-in. So we'll have to trim it down. And then we're going to have general information about the conference over here, possibly. That sounds kind of cool. And we can put in some of the little racing stickers because they're kind of cute. Okay, I'm gonna put the racing stickers over here. I'm just gonna like, as said, follow my joy here, go with whatever I feel like in the moment. So this one we're gonna stick down the bottom over here. Dun, dun, dun. Because I feel like these two pages are kind of separate to each other, which means that I can stick these in and not feel too bad about the fact that it doesn't go the whole way across. There were definitely smarter ways to do this, but that's fine. That's just a current Jess problem. She'll be all right. She'll be okay. These were definitely made for a bigger notebook. I'm working in a B6, if you were wondering. So it is a little bit smaller than a more typical size journal. I say typical because most of the people in our community use an A5. I mean, if you're out here using a B6 and you're like, B6 is my typical, I'm not coming for you, all right? That's not the intention. But did you get more coffee beans? That is a very important question. Let's see. Can someone explain to me how it's June already? I mean, January feels like yesterday. I know, right? The passage of time is a crazy thing because I feel kind of similar, but then I also have felt like the last 2 months have been such a drag. And I know that that is in part because of the whole, like, you know, aforementioned slumping and whatever. You're over here using a traveler's. That is also something I've been thinking about because obviously I've used a traveler's notebook for my everyday journal before, but I'm kind of tempted to try it again. No promises, but I've just been feeling like a bit meh with my current journal and I want to change something up. And so one of the things I was thinking about possibly changing up was doing a different size notebook. Alrighty, Go Wild Indie, yada yada. We're going to stick one of these in because why not? Make sure it's all straight. The nice part about these stickers is that they are transparent, so you can use the dot grid underneath to line up the text, which is excellent. This is very... This style of journaling is not really like me. Typically, I like to go in and kind of methodically plan what I'm going to do for each of the pages and the information I'm going to capture and whatever. Today, we're just like, hey, let's just stick some stuff to a page. Let's see. Just for your opinion, what do you think about using a happy planner or disc binding as a bullet journal? That sounds great. The only thing that I would find for that, for me personally, is that I think it would... If I had the ability to remove pages at will, I would probably get a little bit more prissy about things, especially if it was like, regular dot grid paper that I could just take in and out. As soon as I make a stuff up, I would throw a page away, or at least that's what I would want to do. In terms of being able to rearrange the spaces and change the order of things, that is a great benefit. So for instance, if you do your like start of journal set up in a bound notebook and you forget a page, you're like, okay, cool. Do I just put that at the back of the notebook? Do I add a tip in? Like, what do I do here? If you're doing a ring bound or a disc system, then you can just add it in at any point in time, which is pretty helpful. I'm going to trim this down now. I'm going to do that now, mainly because I want to make sure that I just trim down the top and the bottom, not just one or the other, because I think that I will end up losing the pattern, or like the pieces of information and the pattern, I suppose. But mainly the information. I don't want to do that. So I've had this paper trimmer for the longest time. I have no idea where it's from, but it is very helpful. And so we'll just cut off the top, put that into recycling, and then see how much more I need to trim off to make this fit into the notebook. Yeah, you've done it before and you enjoyed it. Did it during college. Oh, nice. Over planning just was replaced. just an alien. Yeah. Hey, I actually think I trimmed this pretty much perfectly. I was gonna do the top and bottom, but it turns out I only needed to do the top, and it's not too shabby. It's a little bit jagged because I didn't press as hard as I could have, so it's a little bit like not so clean of a cut, but it's all good because this is going to be my little tip in, which I think will be kind of cute. And once it's tipped in, then I will trim down the edge of the page so I can kind of see where it will end up sitting. Gosh, it's so cute. Unless I want to trim both sides. Okay, we'll trim one side. Where are my scissors? I'm going to use scissors for this one because I've got a really nice, easy to use guideline on it, which will be helpful. You're using the Travelers for a reading journal, and it's perfect for putting 4 books per spread. Nice. Yeah, I was thinking about with my next journal and the whole slump thing, and not knowing what I want to do with it, and just being like, oh my gosh, is bullet journaling even for me anymore? Woe is my life, because I start to catastrophize like that. Okay, a side note, I started looking through my 5-year journal. I actually do it fairly often, so it wasn't really I started, but one of the things that I am keeping is a 5-year journal. So at the end of each day, most days, I get in there and I write down what's been happening for the day, like what I've been up to and all of those kind of things. And the best part about it now is that I'm on year 3, so I can look back through previous entries and see what I was writing about then. And literally at this point last year, I was having a moment like, oh my gosh, have I niched down wrong? Like, is my channel about the right stuff? All of this kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, look, you were worried about exactly the same things last year as you were this year. It's funny how these kind of issues just come up on repeat for us. Maybe your issues aren't the same as my issues, but same old, same old. Okay, so we're going to stick that in here. It's going to be so cute. We're going to love it. And that's going to be like our little Dutch door type moment. I might just round the corners with my corner rounder now. They're not going to be perfect as in terms of like perfectly matching the journal, but they'll still be pretty good. How many points did I end up with for the readathon? I did a very bad job of counting. Because I read so many books while I was away and I just kind of like mood read, I haven't tied them to the prompts yet. Because, want to follow the rules and such, want to make sure that I'm reading the things in order that I needed to. I at least got to the 2nd tier based on what I read, but I don't know if I got to the 3rd tier. Do I even remember what my own tiers were? No. That's how well I'm doing with this. I don't believe that I got to the top tier. I don't think I did enough to get enough points for that. But doing that count and calculating how many points I got total is on the list for this week. Okay, that's going to be cute. We love that. What else do we put here? We have the different sessions, so maybe I'll put that in because that's kind of cute. But there's also like, these look like they're supposed to be headers for things, but they're not separated. So maybe I separate them. Maybe I go through and cut them up and separate them. I think maybe that will be what I do. Okay, so here we go. Cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know why I'm counting them. I don't really need to count them. But I'm just kind of looking through them and seeing, like, do I actually need all of these? One other thing I will note is that because they are different colors, it makes me want to put all of them down in, like, their alternating order because I think that would be kind of cute. But I don't necessarily need all of them. I need to make sure I've cut the whole way through the sticker as well. Otherwise, that's not going to peel up nicely. So day 1, day 2, crop night, planner fair, keynote speaker, speakers, flight info, people to meet, favorite moment, favorite swag. I'm unsure. I might not need to put those here. What else do we have in this sticker pack? I haven't even really looked through it properly, have I? So, Go Wild Indie, little boxes, some flowers, some books, which is great because it was kind of bookish themed. And then other little planner bits and all of that kind of stuff, which is quite cute. I like this backpack. That is a nice backpack. Maybe I'll stick that backpack on there. But let's see, readathon was so much fun. Got you reading so much. I'm so glad. That's kind of the point. Like when we set these readathons up and such, and when we plan them out and whatever, our main purpose, or like the main thing that we want our members to get out of it, whoever participates, is that we just want them to read more than usual, or like, you know, if they're in a bit of a reading slump, we want them to fall back in love with reading. Like that's kind of what the aim of the game is. I think I might use the pale green for those header bars, mainly because it matches with the sticker set. So we're really glad that people got involved and that they had a good time, and it just fills your heart with joy. You just end up being very pleased with everybody sharing and participating. It's a nice time. Now, one of the things I will say about this journal, because this is one of the older Archer and Olive journals, is that the dot grid between pages is not perfectly lined up, which when you're doing these header bars like I like to do, can be a little bit frustrating. I think that with the tip-in, it's not going to be too terrible. Because the tip-in will kind of separate the two pages, so it doesn't really matter so much. But on other pages, I have just used my little tape divider that I used to get the crisp lines. I've used that to help me line it up between the pages, because sometimes the dot grid itself does not line up perfectly. It's not the biggest of deals, and if I was doing my regular journaling and such, it wouldn't really bother me. The only reason it bothers me here is because what's the word? I'm doing this header. Like, because I'm doing this type of header, that's why it bothers me. You think you're going to start a new journal and you're going to go into a disc journal? Ooh, that's exciting. I need something to put underneath here so I don't make a mess. I'm just going to see if I've got something in the recycling bin for that. Yeah, this piece of paper will do. Here we go. So, yeah, I've been thinking about the possibility of doing a different type of journal, or a different size, or a different color paper. I think the thing that's holding me back from doing a different color paper, because that was one that I was toying around with for the start of the year as well, is mainly the fact that I've been enjoying doing those sticker headers. And these sticker headers work really nicely on white paper. There we go. Sorry, my phone's going off. Go away. No, that's good. I'm getting my engagement photos taken today. You know, we've only been engaged since 2018, so this is a perfect time for it. Mainly, we wanted to meet our photographer for the wedding before the actual wedding day. We figured it would be a nice way to practice if we got engagement photos. So we're getting those done today. She just wanted to confirm that the weather is looking nice, so we will be going out and doing that. Not right now, but like in general. Ugh, wedding planning. I cannot. You had a really good time with the square last year. Yeah, that was another one I was thinking, because I was like, maybe I could go back to the square, because that was something that I really enjoyed last year. Or I was like, okay, maybe I could go to a B6, because B6 is something that I found really good for my creativity. Just the size was good and manageable for creativity. So I was like, maybe I can recapture some of it from that. But I don't know. Let's see. What about inverse font for sticker headers on a different color paper? Yeah, possibly. I have found that doing, for instance, the May setup in my journal, because I was using the regular sticker paper, and also because of the theme I was doing. But because I was using regular sticker paper, I decided to print them off as if they were white text on black, which I do like the visual of. I think that there is a nice visual punchiness impact of that, but I'm still toying around with it, and I'm tempted to put it as a poll and just kind of like let the universe decide. And by the universe, I effectively mean you, because you could vote on the poll. I wouldn't necessarily go with the final option, but it's the kind of thing that when you're toying out with two options, yeah, A and B, whatever they are, and then you use the pick a hand model. So you assign A and B to one of each hand, and then you ask somebody else to pick a hand. And if you're disappointed with what the outcome is, then you should go with the other option. I use that tink quite often. You need to start a new one in July, and you're thinking about using the square one for notebook therapy. Fun. I like that we're getting more journal companies coming out with square notebooks now as well, because I love a square. I think that the square is a really fun size, but I know that it's not super accessible for everybody, because there was only one brand who was selling it, it would get sold out very quickly. But nowadays, if we have more of them, then more people can get them. So this is going to go here as a little tip in, and we're going to be able to flip it from side to side. I just need to figure out what information I want to put over here, because I obviously have like the dates and such, but I kind of want to stick that backpack in here for no apparent reason, because I thought the backpack was cute. And I think I might put some florals on this side. Let's see. Because previously I have put the itinerary, but I didn't print the itinerary. Is the itinerary easily accessible, and can I go and print that one off? Let's go see. If it's accessible, it'll probably be in the Facebook group, I'm hoping. Not me just coming into this with like zero plan and thus knowing nothing about what I'm going to be doing with it. This is certainly a system. I was also tempted for this memory keeping to actually do it in the little traveler's notebook that I got when I was at Go Wild, because it is a Go Wild themed traveler's notebook, but I don't have a lot of /any traveler's notebook inserts, so I was like, okay, that's probably not going to work. But I think once I've done with this journal, because it is a basic size and it's a basic size planner cover type thing, I might be able to put that in that cover. Like this guy might be able to go in the cover, and I thought that'd be kind of cute. Your daughter is your poll, and you're usually pleased with her choices. Nice. I think that sometimes it's just taking the onus of the decision off our hands and giving it to somebody else can just help. It can just make us feel like if things don't go right, then it wasn't really our fault. Is that a pleasant way to say it? I don't know. Oh, there we go. Go Wild itinerary. I found it. We're okay. Okay, I just need to figure out how to print this to the right size. I can do this. I have the technology. I can figure this out. Okay. Can you insert a PDF into a Word document? I don't think so. You can just print a PDF though. We can do this, Jess. I'm struggling here, guys. I'm struggling. Just so that you can see what I'm doing, just for the sake of actually being able to share this with you. Let's see. So this is the itinerary that I'm playing around with. I just need to figure out how to print this in such a way that means that it's going to be the right size, because I don't want to print it to a full size document, especially because I'm pretty sure it's sized to like letter size paper. Because I don't want to do custom scale, because that's not going to help. Fit means that it'll fit the page. Multiple? That's not good. It's not 2x1. Vertical? Nope. I don't know how this works. 1x2? 1x2? Sure, why not? That looks great. Hopefully. Alrighty, we're gonna print it at that, and we're gonna hope for the best. I know that you can't see what I'm doing with that part, but like, just trust me, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I'm so confused. This is the thing. Usually when I want to print these types of documents and whatever, I will just pull it into Photoshop so that I can turn it into a picture rather than a PDF. And then I will put it in Word, because in Word, at least, I can specifically set like, hey, I want this to be X centimeters across or whatever. So it's printing now, and I'm just going to trust in the heart of the cards. It might work. It also might not work. But that means that I'll be able to stick this one in, and then I will stick the itinerary on this side if it's to scale. Thoughts and prayers that I have printed that correctly. I also just realized that I have printed it as if I'm printing in an A5 and I'm printing in a B6. So, like, oh well. Okay, by the looks of things, it's going to be okay because it looks really small. So we might be all right. Ta-da! Yay, it's tiny! Oh, excellent. I apologize if my printer is making angry noises at you. So this one I've just printed on regular paper because I only wanted to print this one thing. And when it comes to printing on my sticker paper, I get very particular about making sure that I use as much space as possible. Because that one is kind of like $1 per sheet, and this one is like 8 cents per sheet. So I just want to make sure that I use all of it really well. There we go. So we can cut this one out, stick this one in, so that we have the lineup of what was being done when. Is this the highest quality print? No, absolutely not. But it doesn't really matter. It's more so just so that I have the document in here. Yay! I'm also, one of the things with using multiple sticker packs and all of this, because I don't really need to keep this one for later, but the color of this is much more punchy than the color of these. So I don't necessarily want to use them on exactly the same page, but I do love them. I do love this set, actually. I think that this one's from the Sticker Party, which is the table that I sat at for day one of the conference, when you get to choose your table and whatnot. I'm kind of tempted to put them on here, but I want to be able to see more of it, so I don't want to cover it up. I actually kind of like this little tape piece. Maybe I'll tape it in with one of those. It's going to be so cute. But do I want to do any decoration beneath it, though? Maybe like a little floral piece or something? I thought that would be kind of cute. Even if it's just a little floral piece. That one might be a bit too small. Do something like that. Maybe down the bottom. How many flowers do I have? I just have this sheet of florals, so I don't want to use too much of it. I could use this one and cut it in half. It's just mainly so I don't have a whole bunch of like blank space. So we'll just put that here. There. Ah! Try to run away. Don't you dare. There we go. We're going to put that there. Da-da-da-da. And then we can cut the excess off and then use that kind of along the bottom. Or at least that's my current working plan. Get out. Get out. Where's my scissors? I need those. There we go. That's better. I in particular want to use this yellow one because I thought that would be kind of nice. So we're going to trim that along there carefully. And stick that along the bottom here. And I don't mind if some of it hangs off because it means I can just trim away the excess. And then this piece I figured I'd stick in that corner, which I probably should have done first so that I had the spacing right. But I didn't do that, so here we are. It's fine. Because I figure that if this one sits in the edge there, like there, then once I put the tip into the journal, it won't be super noticeable that it stops. I have made a foolish error. Yeah, we're just going to cut this leaf off so it doesn't overhang. It looks a little bit strange, but I don't mind. It's still pretty cute. We've got our little floral banner along the bottom, and then we can put this guy over the top of it. Like that. Like that. Yay! Cute! Again, would have been so much easier going into this with a plan, but I didn't do that, so again, here we are. But for this one, because it's not on sticker material, we're just going to put it in with double-sided tape. I love a double-sided tape roller. It is so convenient. Usually for this kind of a piece of paper, I would just use double-sided tape, like from a roll, not from a roller. Typically because I want to get really close to the edges and have really good adhesion to the page. And because this roller is very convenient for fiddly kind of pieces, ones that are interesting shapes and sizes and such, I will kind of reserve it for that. But this time around, it's all good. You just want to make sure that it's roughly central. Roughly central. Yeah, looks pretty good. There we go. See? So we've got our little itinerary in there, and then we'll have our little card, and that'll look really cute. I need to make sure that I don't have any sticky residue because that is going to be yucky. And of course, drink break. Tink. Yeah, the notebook in the sub box this time around has lavender paper. I'm excited to see what else is in there. I don't typically get the sub box unless they send it to me because you can't get it shipped to New Zealand unless you specifically like have an in with the company and they send it to you for that reason. But I'm going to stick one of these little washi strips down. I need tweezers though to make sure that I line this up nicely because if it's crooked, it will annoy me. There we go. Get my tweezers out. Oh yes. Oh yes. But we're going to just stick that there. That looks pretty good. And I've stuck it over the Go for Go Wild because if I only half stuck it over it, I thought it would look a little bit strange. I think that looks pretty sweet. I'm pumped about it. Now, when it comes to headers, I feel like I need to write them myself so that they are consistent. Maybe I'll just write Go Wild 2025. I know what year it is. The first year I did this, mainly it was actually calligraphy, not photography. Like I went and thickened up some downstrokes a little bit more, but I actually did that with a Tombow Fudenosuke pen. Felt very good about my lettering. I was very proud of myself. And then last year, these ones were all stickers. So I think I'll just do this with a Papermate flare because it's a bit thicker. Do I have a flare? I know I've got you somewhere. I've moved all the stuff around in my pencil cases because I changed over to my new pencil bag. New pencil bag, yeah. I've been quite pleased with it, but it does mean that I just forget what I'm looking for on my desk because I'm so used to looking for my other pencil case. I feel that you're taking some distance with A&O. Is that possible? I don't necessarily think that that's what I'm doing specifically. It's more so just because I have worked with them previously as part of their ambassador team, like writing blog posts and stuff for them, that type of working relationship is a lot closer than just being an affiliate. I'm still working with them. Like I'm still affiliated with them. I still really like their products and stuff. But when you are an ambassador, you get a voucher with them every single month so that you can kind of, bring in product and show off that product and all that kind of thing. And they also send you bits and pieces from releases so that you can show it off because that's kind of like what your job is, I suppose. As an affiliate though, as an alumni from the ambassador team, I get a quarterly voucher, but it means that I save it for those bigger releases. So, like, I use it for, like, the summer, fall, spring, and winter releases. That's typically when I use those vouchers. So I just used my voucher to buy the winter release. Is that what we were in? I know it's winter for me. I don't think it's the winter release. It's the summer release, right? It just didn't look summery, which is in part why I quite liked it. Yeah. Yes, because that's the thing. Like Monica mentioned, getting things shipped here from Archer and Olive is really expensive. So I typically save up my order and use my vouchers to be able to get things from them. But I also have like a crap ton of stuff from Archer and Olive, so I don't necessarily need to get any more. Yeah, I remember you saying you hated writing blog posts but didn't mind doing the videos. IG. Yeah, exactly. I don't particularly enjoy writing. It's not my style of creativity. I think I just get too precious with it. I get too particular about it, and that's why it in part takes me as long as it does. Go wild. There we go. Yeah, so because I get as particular as I do when I'm doing the blog posts, they take me a lot longer than they take other people. So during my last time on the ambassador team, because they give you a 6-month contract, and then at the end of that they will renew it if you want to stay on, type thing. And so I was like, hey, my 6 months is over. I think I'm gonna step back because I don't like doing blog posts. And they're like, please stay. We would really love you to stay. I'm like, if I can just do the videos, then I will stay. So they agreed to just let me do the video, and then just have like kind of what I'm going to call like a tokenistic blog post to go with the video. Go wild. What do we say? 20, 25. There we go. Nice and easy. I need to trim this corner because I've cut it as a square, but it is a rounded corner. But yeah, so I do like them. I do still work with them. I just don't work with them in the same capacity, but that's because I'm not part of the ambassador team currently. But yeah, because the people at A&O, I consider a chunk of them my friends. Not only from having like worked with them, but also just from interacting online or whatnot. So going to Go Wild and seeing my Archer and Olive friends is always very exciting. Getting to hang out with them, and on day one we sat on the same table as each other, and on the crop night we sat on the same table as each other. And then just like spending all of the kind of like spare time in amongst the activities, like the planned activities, hanging out with them too, because this is the thing. It's like they live overseas. They are also an international team. So I only really get to see them at this conference, and then they go back to where they come from, and I come back to where I'm from, and we don't see each other for another year. Bummer. What else do I want to put over here? Because we do have other little bits and pieces like indie, and I could put down the indie sticker. It's weird that the I is smaller than the ND and Y in this. I also quite like this. I think this is very cute. I think I might stick that there too. Who is this from? This one is from Haisha. She was one of the panelists, and I think that this is super, super cute. I am just going to stick this down to the page rather than doing anything particularly fancy with it. And I could use this as a bookmark, but I like that it matches the colors of this spread really well. So there we go. Tee-hee-hee. I like that A&O work with small and medium creators, not just large, super popular ones. Yeah, I appreciate that they aren't just looking for, like a large following or anything like that when it comes to working with creators. Like, I know that, for instance, their current team that they've got, which are, I think, primarily established creators in whatever spaces they're in. I haven't met a lot of them. Like, I know Jerica, because she's been on the team when I was on the team, but I don't really know the rest of them that well. But I know that a couple of the people who are on there that maybe don't have really big Instagram followings, they do have, like, really popular blogs. So that's not to say that they're not, or it's not to say that they're, like, unknown, I suppose, but they do have followings elsewhere. It's just like you don't have to be Insta famous or something like that to work with them. Yeah, you sat at the Archer and Olive table at Go Wild and you're excited to get through the goodies. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad that you got to sit there, and I hope you really like this stuff, because I think that they do a really nice job off their tables. Alrighty, we're going to stick this down. I'm going to stick it down with straight tape. I'm not going to use oh, I could use. No, I don't want to. I don't want to cover over the color. I don't want to cover the color. So we're going to use straight tape or sellotape or whatever it is that we call it. To do this, though, I am going to protect the desk by using this guy. We're going to try and line this up nicely, so that then I get about an even amount of tape down the edge of it. Apologies for that. That was an awful noise. There we go. Tape. There we go. Boink. Yeah, very good. There we go. Because I'm going to have to stick it in one side and then, like, actually into the journal, and then do the other when it's in the journal, which I probably should have done the other side to make that easier on myself. But I didn't, so here we are. Just because if I try and put both pieces of tape down, then the tape will just tape to itself, and then that will be kind of pointless. I know it's probably a little hard to see, but we can see that tape running down the edge there. I'm going to try and cut off the ends because I don't need the ends. That will mean that I won't be able to open my little tip in, and that will be a little bit frustrating for me. Let's see. Gave you such a fright. Yeah, I apologize. I did not mean to. I kind of just didn't even think about the fact that it was going to be noisy. Noisy ass tape. So, that's good. Now we need to stick this into the spine kind of edge of the journal. And I know that some people have really good tips for this. I know that people have previously, they take one of their, like, washi cutters or whatever, and they like fold it back over that so that then they can get it in or something like that. But I am just going to choose Anarchy and go in free balling this and hope for the best. Tee-hee. That looks pretty good. That looks okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And we will just stick that down nice and securely with my finger. There we go. Beautiful. Yay. Where did this piece of tape come from? That's a sticker. There we go. Get rid of that. I will say that, like, obviously where the tape goes over it, it does change the coloration slightly. Like, you can see that that is now looking a little bit more saturated than the rest of the card, but I like that we can at least still see the color through it. And that looks pretty cute. And then when we flip it over, we will secure it with another piece of tape on the other side. Otherwise, we run the risk of it falling out or, like, getting ripped or whatever. And I don't want it to do that. I don't want that to happen. I think this is cute. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped about this. I just think that it's really fun getting to commemorate my trip in this way. I typically don't consider journaling to be my personal preference when it comes to, I'm going to pull the tape, I apologize. Okay, I don't consider journaling to be my personal preference when it comes to memory keeping, just because I journal for so many things. I would rather capture my memories in, like, video format or something like that. But I think that this type of memory keeping is a lot of fun, and I don't mind doing this. There we go. Put that there. Squeak, squeak, squeak. We'll just cut the end off and then trim things a little bit more. Make sure I fold over the edge of the tape, otherwise I'll never be able to find it again. Yeah, one of the things that I try to do when I'm storing my sellotape, which now as I've let it go to the edge, it's not going to help me out at all. But one of the things that I try to do is make sure that the last little edge of the tape, I don't just stick it straight to the tape roll. I kind of take the end of it, which you cannot see, so apologies, but there we go. Take the end of it and kind of just fold it over itself so that then it's not fully stuck down. Makes it a lot easier to then find it and pull it up again next time I come to use this tape. Because, yeah, otherwise it's just like running your finger over and over and over trying to find the end of the tape roll and not being able to find it and getting frustrated and all of those kind of things. Now, when you are making these types of tip-ins and you're securing it by both sides and you've stuck it in and, you know, you're very, very happy with it, then you have to trim the edges of the tape. Be careful. Do not cut your bookmarks out. I totally cut Vogel's bookmark out of his journal when I was doing this in his notebook. I was trimming off a piece of tape or something, or like something decorative, and I cut through the bookmark. It was not my intention. I didn't feel great about it. But just be careful. Take your time. Because we don't want to do the journal an injury. And then do ourselves a heartache. I have also done this. I am glad I'm not alone, but I am sad for both of us. So that's looking pretty good. We have the kind of intro page being like, here's the itinerary, because that's kind of how I start off most of these, I think. I think that's how I start off most of these. Yeah. So Wild Days has the itinerary, which I stuck in as a larger piece of paper, which I've done for both of the trips, actually. Like, stuck it in as a folded piece, and then same idea with the last one because I had a spare page, so I was like, oh, I'll just fill it in with that. Gosh, this journal is so slippy, mainly because it's very full. I think that for next year, given the fact that I now know that I do actually enjoy having these things in here, I'll do something similar to this where I scale it down so that then it is a little bit less difficult to use, because trying to do this, you know, the whole opening things up and whatever when you're on the go is not, it's not the business. It's not the business. Your current bookmark is fighting for its life. No, you have a half decapitated bookmark. It's still hanging in there ish. Yep, that's mighty unfortunate. So we have our intro card. We have our bookmark, which is now stuck in here, so it's not going anywhere. And I think that I might just put a piece of decoration here or something similar. Maybe I'll just shove some stickers in it. I do wish the eye was the same size. It irritates me that it's not. But we're just gonna shove these stickers on here because we need to use them somewhere. So hee. There's the Y. IND, INDY. I don't remember who these stickers were from either, because there was no name attached to them when I got them back. Yeah, this eye looks really small by comparison. Rip. And we'll put the 25 as well, because why not? Why not? We'll say that the 5 is a little hard to read, I think, but it's all good. There we go. I figured that the colors of these ones kind of match this enough that it makes sense to have them here. We'll stick the little flags on here too. Give me that flag. There we go. Cute. What do you do with all the contact cards? I sticker bomb my journal with them. I essentially just make myself a little contact card shrine, and I just stick a whole bunch of stickers in. Like, these are some of the contact cards. The ones that weren't stickers kind of got put in here. Just make a little kind of space for them and put stickers in amongst all of the bits and pieces. So because of the way that I like to use stickers, I don't typically use a lot of the little ones that come off the back or off the contact card specifically. So I just kind of put them all through my journal here, because then at least they're captured and it's a little bit of fun to look at. So if we have a look at some of the contact cards, because I've got a stash of them somewhere. There they are. There you are. Like, this one is a business card one. So that one I would just slip into a pocket. But some of these ones with the little bits and pieces, I will just stick those around the place. This one is another one that's just a business card type one. What a menace. Business cardy type one. So that one goes to the back. This one I think is also a business cardy type one. I don't know if it's sticker paper. Let's see. It feels like thick paper, but I don't know if it's sticker paper. I think that one might just be thick paper. So that one will be kind of a similar thing. Put that at the back. This one is sticker paper, but not kiss cut. So I will have to cut those ones out myself. That's fine. But Laurie's one, which was done by JoJo's Pretty Paper Shop, who I got mine done by. Yeah, you've accidentally cut through a bookmark in your Bujo at the end of 2022. Yeah. Whoops. But yeah, so I've got a decent chunk of these, which I will stick in as well. But that's exciting. That one is going to come a little bit later, though. I have at least a little bit more that I want to do with. Let's have a look. Previously on Jess's Go Wild Journal, I have had the information about it, like where is it, that kind of stuff. What are we doing? I have had. What was this one? I guess I put the itinerary later. Okay. Checklist, travel details, which I don't need because again, this was more like planning kind of stuff. Itinerary again, just drawn out of my journal. I don't really need that either. Bucket list, don't really need that because it's already over. Places to see, didn't even use it. Packing list, don't need it. Tablemate gifts, I like this. I like doing these, so I will probably do something like this. I had a contact card last year. I didn't have one this year, so I'll do something like that. People to meet, didn't have that this year. Didn't write down anybody's names this year because I didn't have the space already pre-set up for it. And then we just get into the contact card sticker bombing, which I love. Contact card shrine. So we will definitely do that. More contact card shrine. And then I had the speaker notes. So maybe I will put, what do we say? Yeah, those are all just memories and such. So I'm going to put down, do I want the contact card stuff first? Or do I want the speaker notes first? Which I'm not going to write like a lot of notes about the speakers, but maybe just like 1 or 2 lines or something about each of them. Don't need an itinerary. Don't need that. Do want this because this is kind of like the before planning. So maybe I will put this one in first and then I will put in. Yeah, okay. I know that doesn't sound like a very assured decision, but I'm just going to follow my joy here a little bit. Choices. So this one is okay, I think, to go across the entire of the page. Like the dots line up okay-ishly. So we will go from one side to the other. I'm just going to use that pale green pen again. I like using the paler color for it. It means that I can write over the top of it and it still show up, which is kind of nice. Whereas if I use a darker color, then it doesn't really show up quite as well. So cut that part off and do the next one over. I like to use the masking tape here just so that then these lines are very crisp. I could do it freehanding, but I just appreciate the way it looks more because it's going to be so like long, goes the whole way across, and also because it's just the one. If I was doing a second line highlight, I would just do it by hand because there's enough lines there that you kind of can rely on the cheerleader effect. Like it looks better because there are lots of them. So even if one's kind of wobbly, it doesn't really matter. When you've just got one by itself, then I find it matters a bit more. Like it's more noticeable if I go wobbly with that one. And I do this typically whenever I do a header. If I'm going to do a header, because it's only one line on the page, I will usually put down the masking tape or excess washi that I'm not going to use for anything else and do that this way. There we go. That's good. Gorgeous. Also in part because it's going all the way to the edge of the page. That's part of the reason why I decided to do the tape trick. And it's not like I was going to use this tape for anything else. So it might as well get some use in my stash. I have actually been thinking about doing I'm pretty much always decluttering. It's my favorite sport. But I've been thinking about doing a very aggressive declutter of my stationery stash. Like, I'm usually pretty good at decluttering tapes, but I'm not so good at decluttering stickers or pens or journals. Journals in particular, I am terrible at decluttering. But I feel like there are a chunk of journals in my collection that could just go and find new homes and make somebody else so very happy. But that is also a future me problem. So, what are we doing here? We're going to do some kind of like tablemate gift commemorating or whatever. So we're going to write down tablemate gifts. Which, how have I been doing this? I kind of like did my regular quote. This is definitely not my regular handwriting, but it is what I would consider my regular header lettering. So T A B L E mate gifts F T S. Cool. Tablemate gifts. Love. And I'm going to just do some kind of little doodly pictures of the tablemate gifts. Now, I do have a little bit of sticker paper here that I can draw on, so we're going to draw items out on here. And to do that drawing, I'm going to use a Papermate Inkjoy. So, one of the things that I gave people were notebooks. So we can draw. Do I want to do it that way or this way? We're going to do it this way. Go. That looks good. That kind of looks like a notebook. At least I think it kind of looks like a notebook. Go. And put that down there. That looks good. And I don't know what was necessarily on the front of them. Well, I mean, they weren't all the same, were they? You're decluttering down full paper. Yeah, that's a good question. In terms of decluttering, what is the item or items that you find the most difficult to get rid of? I can completely understand the paper one because I will keep pretty much any offcut. I was very proud of myself for throwing away. Well, I did fish this out of the recycling, right? This is my notepad that I got from Archer and Olive when they did the Dark and Decadent box, I think, or something like that. I can't remember. It was one of the ones that was kind of like dark academia coded. And I used a piece of the paper and I'm like, oh gosh, like, oh, should I keep this like little offcut? It's like, what are you going to use that weird offcut for? Probably nothing. Just let it go. So I was very proud of myself for letting that go. I can put down a little bookmark, which it'll probably have 2 bookmarks. There we go. There is the bookmarks. And then I need some kind of like picture on the front of this. I don't even remember what kind of ones I gave away. So I'm just going to. There we go. It has a picture on it now. It's all good. We can cut that one out. We can stick that in. Could probably draw more before I go and cut this one out, but I'm not going to because I feel like I want to cut this out and stick it in. So yeah, my table mates, I did originally just plan on giving them their little gifty packs that I wrapped up. I made a video on the channel about it. I got them some dot markers and some sticker books. And I was like, okay, cool, those are done. Like, I've wrapped those up. That's looking cute. And then I was like, you know what? Stuff it. Let's just give them a notebook as well. So I bundled up something like 12 because I was thinking any of the excess ones I could do as a giveaway at my meet and greet or like meetup type thing. So I bundled up 12 A5 notebooks and took those along as well. So yeah, paper scraps is hard. Books, but also washi tape, very fair. The one that you got had a sun on it. Nice. Oh, yeah. I can't remember any of the pictures, so I was like, okay, we'll just draw a stand-in symbol here because it's not necessarily what I actually gave people. But here we go. So we're just gonna do a little arrow. Here, point. There we go. We had 9x A5 notebooks. And then I gave them a set of dot markers. Well, 2 sets of dot markers, I guess, because they were 2 separate packets. So we'll draw in some pens. There we go. I have no idea what the cap on the pens looked like, so we're just following our joy with this. And we're going to draw 6 little pens because there were 6 per pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when we're drawing these, obviously we're not making them like super detailed or anything like that. It's just a stand-in for what the actual item looks like. As long as you can kind of tell from the picture, then you have done your doodle successfully. It does not have to be perfect. Plus, I kind of like the hand-drawn look for these. I think that they look more charming that way. I was actually thinking for next year, if I start planning earlier, maybe I will give everybody mild liners or something like that. I think that'd be kind of cute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll just put a little dot on the side. There we go. Love. We can cut that one out as well. Because I could draw these directly into the journal, yes. But then if I made a mistake, I would have to fix it. So if I, if I do it on here instead, then it's very easy. One of the ones that I also find tricky to get rid of, along with the paper scraps, because that one is hard, is offcuts of my sticker paper. Because as we talked about like at the start of the video or whatever, I find it difficult to use the sticker paper unless I'm using the entire of the page, which is why we stuck this one in ourselves rather than printing it on sticker paper, because we would have wasted, or at least I would have wasted. You were not responsible for my kind of pickiness about this, but because I get particular about making sure I use the entire of the page, I find that any of these little offcuts that I have, I will save them. And I have saved a lot of them, and I definitely do not need as many as I have. But okay, so we had the A5 notebooks. We had 9 of those. We had 18, because it would be 2 times 9. 18, yeah. There we go. 18 times 6 pack. The color dot markers, because I figured that those are something that I enjoy using. I didn't get the Zig clean color ones because I wouldn't have been able to get. It would be like everybody got 1 pen as opposed to this, which is like everybody gets 12 pens, which I think is just nicer. And then everybody got 2 sticker books, which I could have probably planned out this space better. I'm going to put it over here. And we're just going to do... There we go. There we go. That kind of looks like a sticker book. I think it counts. And we'll just draw in a little label on the front of it so it looks kind of more decorated. I think it had like a person holding a coffee or something like that. There you go. She had a messy bun. That's her face. She looks happy. She's good. She's got her book or something like that. And she has her shelves in the back or something. I can't remember what the front of the sticker book looked like. It's all good because it's just a stand-in. It's just a stand-in. Here we go. Anything not cute gets thrown out without a second thought, though. Nice. You struggle to get rid of anything cute. Very fair. Yeah, I have been thinking about the cutification of my office space, or like just making it more enjoyable to be in. And not to say that I don't enjoy being in my office, it's just more like it could be made a little bit nicer to be in. And one of the things that I was in particular thinking about was the cutification of my what's the thing? Keyboard. Because I think that my keyboard could be a little bit nicer to look at. So we're gonna put that here. That looks fine. We can put that there. Padoink. And then this one is gonna be, what do we say? 18 times sticker books. Yeah, 18 sticker books. 18x sticker books. And then that one will be wee little curly eye. There we go. Excellent. And then I think I'll just do some like decoration around here type of a thing. But I like having the little, I don't know, swatch. Is it a swatch? I guess technically they also got a contact card from me. I could put that in there, but not everybody got one. So yeah, that was kind of an afterthought. I only had 8 contact cards and needed 9 gifts. So it's like, whoops. But last year, I planned it out a little better and spread it out a little bit more. But yeah, you can kind of see I drew a similar thing to this one because I could remember that. Oh, I totally forgot the elastic over the front. It does not matter. It's fine. So this is looking pretty cute. Are tablemate gifts expected? No. You don't have to do it, but it is typical for people to do them. Not everybody gives them out, but it is a nice thing that people do on the second day of the conference. So on the first day of the conference, you sit down at a sponsor table, which is sponsored by one of the brands that is sponsoring the event. So they have a bunch of goodies out on the table as you come into the room, like it's already set up, and you find a table that you would like to sit at that kind of resonates with the type of planner you are. And then on the second day, there's nothing on the tables, but the people that you sit with, if they've bought tablemate gifts, you give gifts to each other type of a thing. It's quite nice. So in planning my tablemate gifts, because you sit at a table of 10 people, one of them is you, then you give like 1 to each of those people. So people bring a range of different bits and pieces. I got some like kind of ephemera packs. I got travel snacks. I got a mini first aid kit, which I thought was kind of cute. There was just like a bunch of stuff. So it was very sweet for them to bring all of those nice goodies for us. And I always try to be generous with my stuff. Like the first year that I went, I gave, where is it? What did I give? Yep. So I bought 9 A5 blackout journals, and then 9 sets of the tropical acrylographs because I figured that they could use them together, which would be kind of fun. And then just like a little note to say, hey, thanks for sitting with me. Then last year, wherever it was, which we can go by color, you can do this. Last year I had notebooks from Tifosi. So those ones were either the purple, the blue, or the pink. So it was the Sagittarius, the Pisces, or the Libra design because I figured that those were like the colors of Go Wild. And then I also have my contact card in there, mainly because it's just like, trying to get things to that space a little bit difficult and whatnot. The year before, the person who was collecting my stuff was driving, so I could give a little bit more, which was kind of handy. And then this year around, I had 2 bags checked, so I was originally just going to do the markers and the sticker book. So it's like, okay, you get 2 packs of the markers, 2 sticker books, and then like 3 days before I left, I was like, yeah, stuff it. Let's just chuck a journal in there too. So it's 2 sticker books, 2 sets of markers, and an A5 journal of some description. But those A5 journals in particular, they were all just from my stash. So they're ones that I like hadn't used, but like, still good quality, still good, have not been touched kind of a thing. And then I could give those to them, which was kind of fun. So, tink. Last year you gave stickers from your own shop and you think you'll do something like that and then add something from where you live. That's nice. Yeah, I was very glad to have 2 cases to check this year because otherwise that would have been quite a bit of mass to have to put in my bag. So I'm thinking I'll put in some kind of like a decorative piece over here. maybe I like the backpack. Where's the backpack? I just want to use the backpack. I thought it was cute. And I think that it could possibly fit in that space or something. There we go. And I'm going to use my tweezers for this so that then I don't accidentally shove it down in the wrong spot. But that looks pretty cute. We can put that there just as a little bit of a decoration. And I like to use the back of my finger to adhere it to the page, so get rid of all the air bubbles, which I know people have those little scraper tools or whatever, like the ones that you use for adhering things really nice and securely, but I think that looks pretty sweet. I don't know what I want to do with the rest of this space, because previously that was like contact card planning and such, and I just didn't do contact cards this year. So I might just fill the rest of that spot with decoration, or it could be like a things to remember, or it could be, because I'm not using it for planning, it becomes a little bit more difficult. Because previously a lot of the stuff that I would have put in has been planning related. But we'll just do another little check to see if there's anything I want to add. Like, I don't need to add contact cards. I don't need to add budget and savings. I didn't use it the first year anyways. Tablemates I can't write down because I don't remember anybody. Whoops. Feed me. I could write down what we ate. That'd be kind of fun. Alrighty, let's do that, because I think I can probably remember that well enough. Plus, for me, a lot of the time, the highlight of traveling is food. Like, that is the part that I kind of care the most about. With Go Wild, obviously, it's a little bit different because you're going to experience the conference and stuff. But I still, when it comes to planning a trip and whatever, big consideration for me is the food. I want to make sure that I'm well fed. Don't want to go hungry or anything like that. When I've done this previously, have I gone the whole way off the edge? I just want to check for the sake of consistency. Yeah. Whole way off the edge, which means I need my piece of paper. Where is my paper? Did I throw you on the floor? Where have you gone? Oh no! I was just like so proud of myself for having kept it so that I could use it as a swatch thing, but now it's gone. Luckily, I have that piece of paper from before that I threw on the floor, so this is just to protect any pages that are underneath. I don't want to accidentally color off the edge of the page and then end up with a mess. That's not the business. There we go. We'll color to about there. That looks good. Make it crisp. Poink. Which, I mean, you can technically just use the edge of the sticker for that because it does have a little bit of buffer, but I don't want to color over the sticker and then it not kind of clean off the sticker nicely. There we go. And we will just call this Feed Me or Good Eats or something like that. Yeah. I like Feed Me. I think we're going to do that. Feed me. Because that is important. Now, what days was I there? We obviously have the Wednesday that I kind of like got in. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Really? Wait. I can do this. Wednesday I got in. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay, that's 6. She can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm wondering if I can use these stickers for it. I think that'd be kind of fun. Which means I need to possibly split it into 2 different sections, and I'm definitely mixing my color palettes here, which is not necessarily what I wanted to do, but we'll just chuck this down and see if we like the look of it. We're gonna do it so it's there. I don't know what size journal this was intended for, but I don't think it was intended for this one. That's okay. Wednesday, Thursday. Also, the fact that Tuesday and Thursdays have 4 letters or 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Wednesday and other ones just don't. does give me a little bit of the heebie-jeebie, but it's fine. We're persevering. We're doing okay. We said there were 6 days, so we're going to do 3 here and then 3 on the other side, which means the halfway point. What is the halfway point in a B6? I think it's like 5.5. 5.5 seems familiar. Yep, 11 across, 5.5, 5.5 goes here. Kapoink. I don't have numbers to stick over the top of this, so I might just write the numbers in. Maybe? If I can bring myself to do that. This is the thing that gets me about gradients like this, is that obviously I'm not starting at the Monday, so my gradient is looking a little bit strange. It's fine. I'm going to make my peace with it. But it does look a little bit peculiar because of it, but it's all good. We've got those. We now need to write in what was eaten. So on Wednesday, we had... Nope, this is a brand new pen. We're not using you. Go away. And we're also been using the Inkjoy, so we're going to put this one in. So we had plain food. Then for lunch, I had... I don't know how to spell Chick-fil-A. Is it Chick-fil-A? Chick-fil-A? That doesn't sound good. And then I had literally the same thing for dinner, but it's fine. Chicken tendies. And then on the Thursday, I had overnight oats, which I got from the little shop down the bottom of the hotel. Like, they had a little kind of convenience spot there. I had more than just one though, overnight oats, not just one individual oat. And I also had that on the Friday, and I also had that on the Saturday. Overnight oats. Overnight oats. I don't think I actually had breakfast on the Sunday. I think I just decided to have sleep for breakfast, which is fine. Sleep for breakfast, and then I had sushi for lunch, and then I ended up coming back to the hotel and just copping out and getting chicken tenders again, because that is my life. Chicken tenders. I had a lot of chicken. And Friday, what did we do on Friday for dinner? We went out. We also went out on the Thursday. Okay, on Thursday, I had a chicken burger for lunch. And I know that chicken burger. Saturday was conference day too, so we also had sushi. Because I love some sushi. I'm a big fan. But the thing is that because we had lunch fairly late, but then we ended up having the like wild Planjama food. So on the second day of the conference, you have, tablemate gifts, sessions, all of that kind of thing. And then in the evening, you have the kind of wrap-up party, which is called Planjama. It's pajama party. They do serve food there. So the first year that we went, we were not aware. We did not realize. So we went and had dinner and then got in, and there was so much food. We're like, cool, we won't do that again. So that was good. Made sure to hold off on indulging in food before we got there, so we could just have food at the event, which was nice. The day before that, though, let's see. This one I had crab. I'm just going to call them crab balls. They were effectively like a crab and sweet corn. It was like an arancini. It had the same kind of like shape as an arancini. It just didn't have any rice in it. It was very tasty. Yeah, laughing at the image of eating one singular overnight oat. That would be a very sad breakfast. Not my kind of party. But yeah, overnight oats. What did I eat on Friday? Because Friday we went out. I had a turkey Sammy. Turkey club. Which was very good, but very big. And then I feel like I didn't really have dinner that night because the turkey club was what's the word? It was really filling. So by the time I got to dinner, I was just like, I'm actually not that hungry. And then for Monday, I was gonna go get breakfast, but ended up sleeping in too late. And I got down at 10:35, and the restaurant closed for breakfast at 10:30. I'm like, no. You've been keeping an eye on the time all morning for this, and then got distracted like 20 minutes before it started. It's all good. You made it. You're here now. And then for lunch, I ended up just having McDonald's because I copped out. I was like, oh, I could have Chick-fil-A again. Don Alda's. But then I was like, you've had so many chicken tenders, because while I had nibbles here, I was actually nibbling on chicken tenders. I had chicken tenders here. There was chicken burger here. I'm just like, I'm over it. I'm over chicken tenders. Not really. I still love chicken tenders. But at the time, I was just like, no. And then I went to McDonald's and I still got chicken tenders anyways. I got like a cheeseburger and chicken tenders because I'm like, oh, we don't have these chicken tenders in New Zealand. So I was like, should have just gone to Chick-fil-A. Oh, well. And then for dinner, we had plain food. Plain food. And I don't mean plain food as in like, beige food, like porridge and bread or something. I mean like, plain food. Cute. Do I want to put something down the bottom for decoration? Probably. Do I know what that is? No. We do have some little washi type strip things here, but I don't think that quite works. I could just use the checkered flag type deal, race to Indy type deal. That kind of fits. There we go. Ta-da! I'm kind of at that point where it's like, it doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be done. I quite like that, even though it's not necessarily as in keeping with the theme as it could be. It's all in the realm of the same kind of stuff. So on the other side here, what do we want to do? Because I kind of want to do the speaker notes all together, and I kind of want to put them in the order that they presented. This one is something separate. That's a panelist, speaker for day 1, speaker for day 2, speaker for day 2, crop, day 2, wellness panel was day 2, founders panel, I was day 2, wellness panel was day 2, day 1, day 2, MC, panel moderator for day 1, crop. And then where's Kelsey? There she go. Kelsey was the crop host, panelist for day 1, speaker day 1, panelist for day 2, panelist for day 2. All right. I mean, I do actually have the schedule, so let's go and put these guys in order based on the schedule. It's probably a more sensible way to do this. Very practical, very, very practical she is. All right, so flipping back, having a look at the schedule. You cook chicken breast for our sick kitty. Oh, do not want to smell chicken for a while. Yeah, no, that's fair. Okay, so Amy Tangerine was our MC, so I feel like putting her up first kind of makes sense. Heather Kell was our first speaker. We put her there. That's where I am. Okay. Opening remarks to Amy Tan. We have Heather Kell. We then have the founders panel. So panelist, panel moderator goes first. Makes sense. And we had Joe as a panelist, Myra as a panelist, Tisa as a panelist, and Tori as a panelist. Cute. And then we had the energy break. Yay! Then we have Elise and Marielle. So they did a session together. Love. Then we had Crafty Chica, Kathy. There we go. And then we had Danielle Coke Belfour. That was good on paper. It was quite an interesting session. For the crop, we had Kelsey as our host. We then had Amy present. And then we had Erica and Marielle. And then it was day 2. Day 2, we have... who went first? Mo from Pipsticks went first. And I think I put her down. Yeah, there she is. Mo. Then it was Mark and I. So we need to find Mark and I. Which, might I say, they rotated my picture. And I don't know if you guys have a reference anywhere nearby of what my display picture looks like. But it looks weird because I'm supposed to be like this. But they straightened my image up and I'm like, no, that looks wrong. I don't like it. No, it's fine. But I did think it was kind of funny. Then after us, they had the founders panel was the day before. We have productivity journaling, health and wellness panel. Okay, so in terms of our panelists, we had Keisha, Taylor, Haisha, and Amanda, but Alexa led. So Alexa goes first. There we go. We put those guys in there. And then after that wellness panel, we had the people from Edding. So that was Olga and Marie. And then Lisa took us through like how to use the pens and such and a creativity project. And then our keynote speaker was John Green. So put them there. This sticker that I have here, this one is just essentially a little picture from the conference as a whole, which I thought was kind of cute. So I wanted to stick this in as well. But we could put it here as like a wild speakers type thing. Or I kind of want this for the crop because this was about the book swap. And then I can write down some notes about the book swap because, haha, do I have thoughts? So we'll put that at the start of the crop, which would be here. There we go. That works. Cute. I love this. So in terms of putting these ones out, I don't necessarily need the same amount of writing space as I gave myself last year because I did give myself a decent chunk of space last year and I don't need that much space. I have made these just a little bit bigger, which is kind of nice, but this one I've kind of just called speaker notes. Speaker notes. Speaker notes. Speaker notes. I don't know, guys. Tink. Not too sure what I want to do with this page. Because part of me wants to do something with this page and then go into doing the speaker notes and have all the speaker notes together. But I might not have enough space for all of them. Let's see. If I put Amy Tan here and then I just like offset them slightly. Just because the panel I feel like should go together. Because I just don't know how much I actually have to write. All right, we're going to go over here just for the sake of being able to see how I can put these panelists out because we have 4 panelists and the moderator. So if I put all of these guys over here, I don't think I'm going to be able to fit 3 across anyways, am I? Who planned this? Me, poorly. Poorly, it seems. But if I do it that way, because I can at least fit 3. Yeah. I can fit them like that. And then I can put them there. And then I could take either notes or just draw some decoration in or whatnot. Okay, fine. We're going to do that. But before we do that, we are going to go and put in the highlight because even if I have the speakers go over the highlight bar, I want the highlight bar in. All right. What about working backwards to see if you have the space? I do have a lot of spots in here, so I should be fine. I'm just going to go and put in some highlight bars so that then Sorry, Vogel's messaging me. He's like, do you like my haircut? I'm like, babe, your haircut is just a number 2 all over. Like, but yes, he does look very snazzy. So we are going to put in the highlight bar, so then at least we have those done. How many do I need? Je ne sais pas. But I don't think that I'm going to do too many. I trust in myself to not do too many because I also need a space for my contact cards. So we're going to go tape all of these up and then we are going to go and color all of them in. And then we are going to get on to sticking some things down. Because with this section that has all of the speaker pictures or whatnot, I'm not going to write a lot, as mentioned. I'm just going to be writing down maybe some snippets or some things that were memorable about their session or that happened either during their session or whatever else. I'm kind of tempted to make part of this page about the table that I sat at. So print off some pictures of the table. I don't think I actually have any photos of the table I sat at because I just default to taking videos instead. So I might have to take like a screenshot from my video to have something to stick into my journal. I should write myself notes for next time. Notes for next time. Make sure to take pictures of the table you sit at, not just video footage of the table you sit at. That would be a sensible idea. But yeah. How about a blank spread? You dedicate your favorite swag you received. That's a good point too. Yeah. So that blank one I could do that for. that seems reasonable. And then all of the speaker notes will at least be on the same starting page, which I think will make my heart happy. Because the thing with the speaker notes is that obviously we have the day 1 stuff and we have the day 2 stuff, but we also have the crop, so the spacing kind of gets a little bit strange. But as I said, I don't think I have a lot to write about. It would have been one of those things that it's like, should have written things down in the moment. I think next time I will pre-set up my journal. Even though this time I was like, you don't need it, you didn't use it last year, rah, rah, rah. This is like the same thing that I have with the monthly log, right? When I don't have the monthly log, I miss the monthly log. But then when I do have the monthly log, I don't use the monthly log. What a sensible system. This is one of those pages where the dot grid does not line up from page to page, so we're just going to ignore the dot grid on this side of the paper and go the whole way across. There we go. But that's all right. There we go. I do think that this tape in particular actually would have been quite good to decorate this layout with. I think just like based on the color and the fact that it's like an animal print kind of works nicely, but I don't actually want to use it in my journal, so 3 pages seems reasonable. I'm not too sure about that last one, mainly because I used the dot grid on this side to line it up, and I don't think it looks quite right, but there we go. Whee! Color, 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 color. Where's my blotting paper? She moved it. Go. Safe. Safe. Same on the other side. Which, with this part, you can just do it in like one kind of clean stroke of color rather than coloring up and down like I'm doing. I just like that by going over it multiple times, you kind of further develop the color, which is kind of nice. Makes it a little bit more punchy. And also, sometimes when I do just the strip of color, I miss a spot and have to go back over it anyway. And then you end up just deepening the color in that one spot, and you don't end up with a nice consistent kind of look. This technique of going up, down, you don't necessarily get exactly the same consistency the whole way across, but I do typically like it a bit more, at least for this technique. So I've decided to just go with what I've got here rather than redoing the tape because I'm being lazy, and that's okay because this doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be done. It being done is going to fill me with more joy than spending ages and ages perfectly lining everything up so that it is perfect. Which, I mean, perfection is a lie and all of that kind of stuff too, but we're not here to discuss that right now. So, now as we have the color, yay, we can carefully pull these off. Now, if you're doing this for yourself, this is one of the spots to really just watch out for, because if you've used a tape that is particularly sticky, you might rip your paper, especially if, doing the up-down technique like I've done. It adds wetness to the page, and that wetness can, compromise the structural integrity of your paper, and that can lead to ripping your page. We don't really want to rip the page. It's typically not the target when we're doing these kind of things, so just be careful. You're eating ice cream and living your best life. Love it. Oh gosh, I could go for an ice cream. She says it's like 11 a.m. I'm like, that's like morning tea time, and ice cream is an appropriate morning tea, is it not? I'm not actually that hungry yet, so I should be okay. I'm gonna hold out for lunchtime. Pineapple and Cheetos, half healthy. I think that counts. I think that, isn't that the thing they say is like, if you're going to eat non-nutritional food, or like, good for the soul, not necessarily good for the body, question marks, whatever. If you're going to eat that, then pairing it with something that the body does like is usually a good idea. It's like, if you're going to have pancakes, always opt for pancakes with fruit, because the high fiber in the fruit will help your body digest the pancakes, which are, just like typically more sugary or whatever or like have more lipids and whatever, they will get processed better by the body because of the fiber in the fruit, that kind of thing. Hey, what you got there, sir?
I got you a surprise.
Oh, thank you.
I wasn't sure if you were finished, so I sent you a photo, which was, do you like my haircut? And in the background was the little bag of Maccas.
Aww.
So you'd be like, what is that?
Talking about not so good for us, Vogel bought me a snack. Yay!
And I got you a peach tea, no ice.
Oh, thanks, babe.
Just because you missed out, because I had a couple this week because of my funny mornings.
Mm.
But we'll be good from now on.
Tink. Yeah, we'll be good. We'll be good tomorrow.
Yeah,
Mwah. Thank you.
Just for you as well. I'm having something else.
Thanks, babe. I appreciate that.
Do you like my haircut?
I do like your haircut. You look very snazzy. So I have food now. Yeah. Glucose got his tips for the win. Yeah, I know, right? Now I need some fruit to go with it. I don't have any fruit though, so I'm just going to munch on my hash brown and be very happy about it. Hee hee hee. Apologies if you hear eating noises. It is not my intention to turn this into mukbang. Put some clothes on those carbs. I love that. That's a great way to word it. Let's see. So. It's very hard to eat a hash brown and talk at the same time. Because I don't like to talk with my mouth full. That's rude. Let's see. We're going to put some bits and pieces out and see if we can make this look good. Okay. Amy Tan, Heather Kell, Callie Danielle, T Satori, Myra. I was like, we could just do it down the side type thing and then just write notes in the middle. And we put Tisa here. Callie can go here. And Amy can go first. Or I could not do that and do something different. I kind of like this. I like this kind of little panel. It's a panel because they're the panelists. This one isn't straight. I apologize, Tisa. I'm just going to pull you up off the page and make you align better. Yeah, it's a little better. Because I'm also wondering, like, do I want to jam pack this with all of the stickers of the speakers, or do I want to kind of make it a little bit more open and then have bits and pieces go in amongst it? Yeah, Ruffles potato chips. Ruffle. Excellent choice. Munching on chips in bed. Sounds like a nice way to spend the day. I mean, you know, recovering from back surgery, less nice, but sitting and ruffling sounds good. Does McDonald's have any unique foods? We used to have the Kiwi burger, but that's really similar to the McOz. So, I don't think so. I don't think we get anything that's particularly unique outside of that. And the Kiwi burger isn't even like a permanent fixture. It's just there sometimes. This looks like one of those, what's it? A bracket. It's like, oh yeah, Amy Tan versus Callie Danielle. Heather Kell wins. Because that works. That doesn't make any sense, but I kind of like it. Because I could just stick in their pictures. Like, it doesn't actually have to be a, I'm just thinking about spacing, like how that will actually work. Spacing isn't perfect. 1, 2, 3. What if we do it 2 across? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That doesn't work either. It's not perfect. Again, not that it needs to be perfect. I'm just particular like that. Okay. How much do I want to write? Because I feel like having a little bit of a blurb space would be kind of nice. I also feel like having Amy Tan here is kind of where I would put my header. So maybe I like it. I like Amy there. I like having Amy there. Maybe I could just put like a little shrine of the stickers of the people over here and then write down the side like day 1. Because this is all day 1, right? That is day one. This is day one. Memories? Something like that? Yeah, stuff it. We're going to do that. That seems like a reasonable way to do it. Plus, I don't want to overthink this too much because realistically, this is just for funsies. It's not supposed to be something that is a big stressor. A big stressor. We'll put Joe down here. And I need to feed her into a corner in the nicest way possible because I want it pretty much flush with the middle. There we go. That works. And when I close this, it will fold, but that's okay. That looks okay. And I would prefer Heather to be up there. We do it kind of like that. That kind of cute. And then we can put down maybe some decoration over here before I stick Kathy down. That seems reasonable. And then I have that as open space to write down journaling and notes and whatever else. Good. Oh, okay. So if Kathy's going to go here and I want to have some decoration behind Kathy, what are we doing for decoration? That is a good question. I'm not too sure. The florals could be cute though, eh? Florals are also the kind of thing that I don't really mind sticking pictures over the top of, which also kind of helps. Where did my florals go? Ah! Don't lose people. Keep on putting the stickers down in different places and then forgetting where I put them. Alrighty. If we have like a little corner piece. That's quite cute for a banner. Not up the side of this one, but just in general. That one is actually a corner piece, so I might steal that. It might not work here because it might be too big. If I can get it off the paper. Rage. Okay, so having a look, I think that it might be a little bit too large. So I'm going to put that on the other side. And I'm just going to hang it over because it's just easier to line it up that way. Tee-hee. That looks good. And we can... There we go. Adhere to the page. Adhere to the page. That works well. I still need something over here, though, don't I? Come on, Jess. That one looks fine because the nice part about these ones here is that I can kind of just stick down as much as I want. I'm going to put a good chunk of it. That looks great. There we go. And those little extra pieces that are hanging off, like, yes, I could trim those and kind of stick them in different places and whatever, but they're now stuck to the sticker that's beneath it, so I'm probably just going to leave it. And that's all right. I need to combat that part of me that gets too precious about these kind of things anyways, so it's all good. We are okay. Gorgeous. Hee. Yay. And now I know some people would see that and be like, oh, you just stuck that sticker down just to stick something over the top of it. I'm like, yeah, because I'm trying to combat my perfectionistic tendencies here. Like, this is just part of my process. So we could put Heather Kell here and then put Elise and Marielle here, or we can put them like that. Which one do I prefer? I think I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to stick some kind of decoration up here. Maybe the smaller piece. I'm going to run out of florals. But it's okay, because they need to be used, so it's fine. We're going to stick that one here. I don't want it to stick over the edge of the journal, like this part here, the binding, because it won't fold nicely. And I also don't want it to stick over the green header because it is transparent, which means that it'll just show that line through and it'll look a little silly, which there are ways to get around that. Like, you can stick a piece of white sticker label over the top of that or something like that, or, anything along those lines, but it just gets to be a little bit fiddly. And I don't want to have to fluff around with that. It is not what is going to spark joy right now. There we go. Sorry, Marielle, I don't mean to put creases in your face. There we go. Yay! Isn't that cute? Or at least I think it's like cute. It's got our speakers for day one, and then I can write like day one memories or something, and then fill all of that in. Gotta have my hash brown. Yum yum yum. In particular, gotta have my hash brown while it's fresh. Now, I'm gonna trim the rest of this off. Make sure I don't stick it to the page, because that would be problematic. There we go. And in terms of the actual like writing of memories and such, I'm gonna do that at a later time, methinks. I don't need to actually write everything in here right now, but I would like to stick in a couple of these little stickers if I can. There was one that had like stationary bits and such on it. I'm gonna use those. I'm also gonna stick in a picture of this cup because I think that the cup is a good memory. Mainly because it's actually relevant, not just because like, oh, cup, but on day one of the conference, one of the lovely ladies from Archer and Olive got me a drink, so bought me a matcha latte. So I figured that this would be nice to put in there as a little memory because that's something that happened. Alrighty. I don't think I'm going to be able to line this up very well, so I'm just going to write it here. Day 1. Memories. There we go. Day 1 memories. Done. And then I can write down my little blurb in here. That looks pretty cute. I'll probably put some more stickers in there as well as just like decorative pieces and whatever else. Just so that then I can fill up the space and don't have to write too much because writing is not my favorite style of memory keeping. But then over here, I can do like wild crop type things. I might just turn that into kind of like a sticker shrine of like pictures or something like that, and then do some more over here. But we have been here for 2 hours and 5 minutes, and now my hash brown is getting cold. So I am going to love you and leave you. Thank you for joining me. I do still have some work to be done here, but I'm feeling pretty positive about the progress that we've actually made. So we have our itinerary, our little tip-in, just a little blurb about like kind of what was happening, and this little kind of affirmations card, which is cute. And then my day 1 memories space, which I am going to go and fill in with actual writing. If you haven't already seen my Go Wild vlog, you should totally go check it out. It was such a good time. If you're thinking about coming along, we would love to have you there with us. Obviously, like, cost permitting and stuff like that. But thanks for hanging out with me. Have a fabulous rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye, guys.